So I hope that you also had beautiful weather in your neck of the woods, had some great time with your kids, and all the good things that come with weekends. So I just wanted to share this week a quick little story before I get to the bulk of the reflection. Today was lawn mowing day, and for a while, my 6-year-old has been dying to help me, but she's a bit short for her age, and so pushing the lawnmower is not necessarily easy for her quite yet. She pushes, and then the front tips back, and then there's a safety issue, and it's an electric, so you've also got the power cord. So lots of things to maneuver, but she's been begging and begging to help me. And our yard's pretty small, and it's not that big of a deal. So I was kind of like, all right, why don't we do it today? And I kind of have a pattern that I do because there's some odd angles to the yard, much like many yards have. And she's seen me mow, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna get you set up and you're gonna take off. And take off she did. She didn't follow any pattern. She went straight across at a diagonal to get to some grass that was a little bit longer than other parts of the grass. And she got it, turned around, accidentally turned off the mower, got it back on by herself, and then took off in a different direction at another weird angle, and kind of did this for a while. And I just sat there watching. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, this is so inefficient. She's making a complete mess of the yard because there's no pattern, right? And I'm seeing all these clumps of grass that she's missing that I'm going to probably end up going back and having to mow. But but along with that, she's smiling, she's having a great time, she's got this air of confidence and is looking at me like, "Dad, I've got this." And then she starts to get a little bit tired because it's a really hot day today in Chicago. And she stops and she goes, "Dad, I think I'm ready for you to take over." And so of course I do, right? And I get down at her level. I'm like, okay, well, here's some things that you didn't do quite right, and watch how I line the mower up. So I'm making sure I get all the grass. I'm doing all these life lessons that dads do. And she's like, okay, I got it. And then she went and stood by the side while I finished up the yard. And that was it, right? Pretty typical standard dad experience that I'm sure many of you have had, whether it's gardening, helping cooking in the kitchen or doing chores around the house. We as fathers kind of have our routine that we've developed over the decades of our lives that we come to find to be really efficient for us, right? And we do these things that it's almost rote memory where we just kind of like, all right, I gotta go mow the lawn, or oh, I gotta clean the car, or do whatever. And you just kind of click into your go mode and you do it and you get it done, and then you go on with the rest of your day. And then your kids come along and you're like, okay, how do I educate them? How do I figure out how to get them to do things just as efficiently as I do them? And if they don't do them as efficiently, I know I'm definitely a victim of this, where I just kind of cave to my frustration sometimes. And I'm like, I'll just do it. It's easier for me to do it than to have them do it. And many of you may be in the same boat as me in this regard. And it's frustrating. And at the end of the day, you think, well, they didn't accomplish anything, right? I did everything. I'm frustrated because I ended up doing more chores because and doing the chores I didn't want to do instead of educating them and getting them to do chores so that they've getting some confidence built up, they're getting some skills built up. And at the end of the day, they didn't, and you're just frustrated. And so this week, my challenge for you all, and what I've been reflecting on a lot since this afternoon, is this challenge of how do we let go of our efficient processes? How do we allow ourselves to step back and let the kids muddle through it? Because we were all kids once, right? I have many memories of my dad telling me how to do things and me getting so frustrated with him because I wanted to do them my way. And it's the exact same script that my daughter is playing out with me. And I'm sure your kids are doing the same thing to you, right? We all have this idea of what we think is right, and we have to muddle through it. We just have to get through it because if we don't, if we helicopter over them, if we do everything for them, two things are going to happen. They're going to grow up resentful that we didn't let them do anything, and they're going to do it their way no matter what, but they're going to be frustrated because they have to do it on their own. Or they're going to grow up really lazy and we didn't give them any direction or guidance on how to channel that energy. And so it goes away and they just get kind of lazy and just walk through life passively. And I think from what I see in the group, from the posts and how engaged all of you are with your children, you're not wanting either of those two outcomes, right? You're like me. You want them to kind of struggle. You want them to grow. You want them to become the leaders that they're meant to be. We just got to get out of the way sometimes. And so my challenge for you is in the week ahead, how do you find the joy in these little things, right? And how do you pray to find the joy when you can't find that joy, right? Sometimes it's the asking to find the joy, it's not getting to the joy first. So how do you find that joy in those little things, those little tasks, those little to-dos, and how do you get out of the way so that you can find that joy and allow your kids to struggle a little bit, to have those failures so that they can learn the efficient things. Um, to close, at bedtime tonight, my daughter loves Rosie Revere, the engineer. There's a whole series of great books. Ada Twist, Scientist, Izzy Peck, Architect, Sophia Valdez, Future Press. And Rosie Revere, the engineer, she fails and her aunt laughs at her and she gets really angry. And her aunt reminds her, hey, you had to fail at this to learn what was broken to make it better the next time. And as I was reading that with my daughter, I realized I need to get out of the way. I need to let her fail a little bit. And find the joy in that failure, as weird as that may sound. So that's my challenge. That's the reflection tonight. In the weeks ahead, we've got some really great panels and conversations coming your way, so please stay tuned for those. We're also going to be doing a membership survey to get a sense of what you all want out of the group moving forward in the latter half of this calendar year. With COVID not going away anytime soon, and many of us still working from home or being laid off or facing challenges that are just completely unprecedented, we really want to keep this group vibrant and alive. And so as you're engaging the group, please take note of the survey when we post it up at the hopefully at the end of this week, and allow us to know what you're thinking so that we can provide more resources, some more ways in which all of us can grow and become better as dads together. Until then, peace. Have a good night. See you in the group.